Yes. Oh, you know what that sound means. Time for In the Paddock F1. Greeny and the cheese. After trips to the Middle East, Asia, Down Under, and the States, Round 7 sees the F1 circus return home to Europe.
The circus?
56 miles from Maranello. 21 miles from the city of Bologna, in a little village tucked into the hills of the Italian countryside known as Imola. On the banks of the Saturno River is the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. But of course, Bologna is probably where you're going to stay if you're going to go to Imola and see the race. And while you're there, you got to get some of those Italian eats. Did you know this, Michael? It is the birthplace to the Italian dishes, tortellini, mortadella, and of course, bolognese sauce. How about that, sir? Bet you didn't know that.
That's from Italy? Of course I knew that. Come on now.
You didn't know it was from Bologna?
Oh, from Bologna.
From
That's
the city of Bologna is where it comes from.
I've never been, but I hope one day to be.
Also, while you're there, maybe check out the University of Bologna, one of the oldest in the world, founded in 1088. Or maybe take a stop at the Two Towers. And no, I'm not talking about the Lord of the Rings Two Towers. These were built in the 12th century by noble families. And of course, you got to make a stop at Piazza Maggiore, lined with medieval and Renaissance buildings, cafes, and street music. Oh, you shake that little thing out there while you're getting some good eats.
Shake
but
it on the
this is
street.
No travel show. This ain't no travel show. This is an F1 show. We're racing old school, baby. Gravel traps. Bring them closer to the track, I say. We're racing the Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari. 19 corners. Oh, and some of those F1 classics. You got Tamburello, Tosa. One of my favorites, Paratella. Hit that baby hard. Aqua Minerale, and of course the Ravazes, to name just a few. You give it the full beans for 64% of your lap. Oh, and as always, Imola that doesn't disappoint. Max struggling all weekend, grabs pole shockingly. Lando unable to get Max the Tamburello at the start, but at the end makes Max nervous, running him down. Got to within a second, but that's all he could get as Max gets the win. Lando takes second, Leclerc in third, and of course visiting Imola in this year, of course, 30 years since the passing of Ayrton Senna at this track. We're caffeinated. We're medicated, Greeny. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. What a race we had. Looks like somebody's getting closer. As you're wearing orange, you claim it to be New York Nick orange, but I think
Nick's orange.
I think that Tifosi might get the wrong idea. So let's clarify that out.
We are in
right at the start.
NBA playoff time. Knicks, Pacers, Game 7. Orange and blue skies, baby. Let's go Knicks. Let's go Knicks.
Let's go Knicks, man. So that's what the orange is for. Not for the McLarens, of course, because as everyone knows,
orange and blue skies today, baby.
You're the Ferrari fan in the house. So, man, what a weekend we had. It's about time that we really see somebody else besides Max Verstappen dominating. Even though Lando Norris didn't win, he could have won. I know Max was pulling away. He was about
couple more laps.
He was about 5 seconds away when he radioed in about those tire issues. He said he had no tires, and they got close really, really quickly. Max Verstappen knows his car. He is just an unbelievable driver, Max Verstappen. And what he's done, because you can see, listen, look at Sergio Perez once again. Gotta love the guy, but he's got to stay on track. That's for damn sure. He had a rough weekend from beginning to end, and not the way he wanted to go into the weekend. So that's for damn sure. Fernando Alonso was miserable all weekend. So a lot of the guys we see towards the top of the field weren't there, and in steps in to the McLarens, man, and showing up Ferrari on their home turf. Second to last race in Italy for as a Ferrari driver for Carlos Sainz, who was definitely disappointed in his weekend performance. He wanted to be on that podium along with his teammate. Wasn't meant to be. Max Verstappen wins. Lando Norris comes in second. And once again, every race this season, besides China, I believe, Ferrari's been on the podium. So a lot going on, a lot to root for. Really awesome seeing another tricolor podium. Makes everything more interesting. Does Max have a challenge? Or is this just a run McLaren's going on here? Specifically Lando Norris.
I mean, McLaren's, the car's definitely improved. I mean, Ferrari's improved as well. Not as much as they had been touting out, but they're closing into the Red Bulls. And it makes for a lot more of exciting weekends. I'll tell you that. I mean, seeing Max struggle most of the weekend. I mean, it came up at the end of the race when he was complaining that there was no front end of the car all weekend. All weekend they were complaining that there was no front end. Max likes a very responsive front end. He likes the front end to grip, and he'll deal with the back. I mean, that's just the way he likes to drive. So he was struggling with the front with that sharp front end that he prefers. So they were struggling all weekend. I mean, Perez struggled. The Red Bull didn't show up with probably what they're up, because they brought upgrades as well. They brought some floor upgrades, and I guess they didn't get the performance out of the floor upgrades that they were seeing in the wind tunnel. I mean, maybe some of the wind had some effect on that as well. Coming out of the certain corners, the wind was definitely making the rear end a little bit more dicey than as per the usual. But McLaren has made massive gains. We discussed this in our last show from the last year, compared to where they finished at, Miami from one year to the next.
They were in Stink Town last year. 12 months ago, they were in Stink Town.
Yeah.
They were in Dumpville.
So
they were like, what the hell happened to McLaren? And they came back, they stormed back, they go to Miami, they win. They go to Imola, finish second and fourth. And, on the 30th anniversary, in the McLaren, wild. And you also have Senna had 8 straight poles, and Max Verstappen joined him today to, I believe, the second driver ever to have 8 straight poles. Is that right? So
that is correct, sir. Ties the record.
A little bit of stars aligning, a little bit wild. The Senna family was all, and representatives of the Senna family were on track before. And the whole Sebastian Vettel. I don't know if you were able to see that driving the Senna's McLaren in a really special moment. And dude, Seb is like the classiest freaking guy ever. I mean, he's straight up the classiest guy ever. I mean, when he gets out of the car and the Senna family is here, they're like, this is the greatest weekend ever, which is a really strange thing to say about like the anniversary of this horrific incident. I mean, we would love to have Ayrton Senna here today and be able to complete a full career in Formula One, but besides the career, be here today and to be in the paddock along with other Formula One legends. So, terribly tragic. It was just strange. The family reacted. Maybe there was lost in translation that I missed there. But like, this is wonderful. This is fantastic. But that's how classy Seb is. He could take Ayrton Senna's death and just like spin it around and be like, this is great. So, but obviously it was 30 years ago. It's a long time ago. And it was great to see the family on track. It really was a cool thing to see. And make a awesome moment out of something terribly, terribly tragic and just make the best of a situation. Maybe we're just like sour ass grapes here in the US. And I guess I was confused by that. Probably more like the rest of the world would have honored their dead instead of, but whatever. You look lost.
I don't look lost. I'm just letting you go, man.
Right.
I mean, Seb's the man, dude. I mean, I wanted to see Seb back in Formula One. I mean, if he can grab a seat, I'd like to see him back in. If he wants in, the man he should be in. He's just great. He's great in the paddock. He's great on the track. Sad, man.
Yeah. Getting back to Red Bulls, though, Sergio Perez probably had the moment of the day for me when this is classic. I think I've done this before, where you go completely off track or you're off the road and you know what you did wrong. Be like, oh, what happened? What was that? They're like, everything all right? Everything all right there, Serge? Oh, what? What happened? How did I end up here? That was a rough freaking weekend.
He wasn't the only one in that gravel trap this weekend. So
definitely not the only one on the gravel track, but he had the best reaction, I believe.
Well,
anyway.
You gotta come up with something.
Gotta come up with something. Not my damn fault. Not my fault. How the hell did I get here?
Can't blame yourself, dude.
No. Is little take as little accountability as possible for that one. No. So listen, Sergio's season's just crumbling now, which is crazy. It's definitely not where he wanted to finish today. And
you knew it was. Come on. To be honest, you knew it was going to happen. He did the same thing last year. He got off to a good start, and then it all just fell off the cliff. That's what he does.
It's even worse this year, though.
He just can't.
At least he won a couple races last year.
Yeah.
At least he won a couple races last year. It's some sad stuff out there. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pick on Checo.
But it's facts.
When you have a car that good, or is it the fact that we keep talking about every single week that Max Verstappen's just that damn good, and he makes so few mistakes that he just keeps winning, and maybe he's that freaking good. I know we like to talk about how the Red Bull has been such a dominant car, but maybe they're not. Maybe they're not. Maybe he makes too few mistakes, and maybe, just maybe, I think everyone talked about all weekend, McLaren's the best car on track right now, and Ferrari's playing third fiddle. How you feeling about that?
Facts.
Dems is facts.
It's facts. That's facts.
And
the upgrades that Ferrari had been talking about for weeks that they were bringing to Imola didn't perform like they had touted. Plain and simple. Work to be done. Much work to be done.
There's a lot of work to be done at Ferrari, and I think they're starting to put the right people now around the team here. I don't know what Lewis Hamilton's thinking. Lewis actually quietly had a pretty good day today, but I don't know what he's thinking at this moment. He might have picked the wrong team.
I think the red car looks a lot better than the Mercedes does. So.
Well, that's damn straight. That's for damn sure. Mercedes has become persona non grata, which is just wild. Just shows how a couple of years. So for everyone complaining about how dominant Red Bull is, give it a few years.
And let's just put it this way: Lewis left McLaren, and people said he was nuts when he made the move to Mercedes. That turned out pretty good.
It turned out pretty legendary.
Maybe the man just knows stuff. Maybe he just sees things. You know, as what's his name said in Blade Runner, I've seen things. You know, maybe he's seen things.
It's crystal ball. I've seen things. Listen, if you haven't already told your friends, tell your friends. If you're enjoying the content you hear, tell your friends. Greenie and the Cheese in the Paddock F1. And, of course,
spread the word on the streets.
Spread the word on the streets. And if you haven't hit up the YouTube channel yet, go there, subscribe. I know we pester you guys all the time. We really appreciate it, and we wouldn't be here without you. Which, of course, takes us to the weekly ass kicking. Although I went 3 for 3 last week. I got to hear the bell. 3 times, the little victory lap. I have a feeling that you feel slightly embarrassed and you're coming back with a vengeance. And I'm a little concerned.
No, I think this is a pretty easy one for you.
All right.
I think you should actually do well this week.
All right, and for those of you who don't know, we take 1 lap around the track. 3 sectors means 3 questions. probably about Formula One, hopefully, and probably about something about Italian Formula One, I'm assuming. But who knows what's coming out of your melon each week. And you're going to fire them out, and I'm going to see if I can get all three. If I get all three, we go right into winners of parts of winners and losers. If I miss even one, we go right into losers.
That's right.
She's the disappointed teacher. And here we go. Question number one.
Question number one, sir. Charles Leclerc finished on the podium today. Who was the last driver and what year was the last Ferrari driver on the podium at Imola?
Wasn't last year. Ferrari's been on podium.
Oh, stumped him.
Ooh.
He's sweating.
Ooh. I'm going to go with 2019.
No. Not even close. So, just give the buzzer.
That's it. That's it. In the
The
gravel.
year's way off. You have no chance.
In the gravel already.
In the gravel and Tumbarella, right up
What's
up
the
the
answer?
bat.
What's the answer? Easy with Tumbarella. What's the answer?
It would be Schumacher, 2006.
It's been that long. That was the first year back at Imola, right? Yeah. Schumacher, wow.
No,
Wow.
that was the last year of the San
I'm sorry,
Marino
the last year.
Grand Prix.
I'm sorry, the last year of San Marino. Yeah, I apologize.
Yeah. So you're off to a flying start right off the bat. Good job.
By the way, before we came back here, you were attempting to get me a little inebriated here, but I don't think that you needed that. So we will continue. You tried. You tried to get me sauce before we get into this segment. Don't lie. Don't lie to the audience. You tried to get me tanked. Anyway, keep going.
You don't pass on grass. How many wins?
Keep going.
How many wins does Ayrton Senna have at Imola?
4?
Close, but no, 3. 88, 89, and 91.
Those are good years.
Well, let's see if you can get one right. When I thought you'd actually get him this week.
Now,
when was the first F1 race held at Imola? He's got nothing.
1963?
No, not even close. 1980. And it was the Italian Grand Prix that year. The San Marino Grand Prix didn't start until 1981. Also, it is the only time in 1980 that Monza did not host the Italian Grand Prix.
Captain Facts coming through as I go 0 for 3 and crash into the wall. I think Logan Sargent could have beat me at this hat lap here. Which is saying
that was
a lot.
atrocious. That was atrocious.
Speaking of Logan Sargent, we go right into losers, don't we?
Oh, absolutely right into losers. And Perez is going to be my first one. It's just not good enough. 8th. I mean, they're talking about him during the broadcast about just getting in the points. So, I mean, that's embarrassing. That's just not good enough. Absolutely not good enough. And my second loser, which I don't really recall we've given him many losers ever, be Fernando Alonso. Just an absolute disastrous weekend. That's one that, I'm sure Fernando's just going to forget and move on. Throw back some wine after this. But that was just all-around bad performance.
All weekend.
All weekend, even made
all
changes,
weekend.
Started from the pit lane, and still 19th. Just a mess. Just an all-around mess.
He finished the race. Did finish the race.
19th.
The aforementioned Logan Sargent. I do have to say for the fake Crofty who was out there, Was Harry
that guy
Benjamin?
Stinks. That guy stinks. Not good.
That was a rough listen. And then you had post race, who actually I'll get to that in a minute. But before that, Logan Sargent really stinks, and the fact that this Harry Benjamin guy was getting so excited every time, it's like, oh, unbelievable! Yuki passes. Anyone can pass Logan Sargent. He's bad. He's bad. It's not impressive to pass Logan Sargent. Do you even watch Formula One? I mean, It is not impressive to pass Logan Sargent. He was like out of his seat. I can't believe it. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What league are you watching? You're supposed to pass Logan Sargent. I know he was trying to make it exciting, maybe for people who don't watch, but wow, that was just so off key. It was just so weird because you're like, of course, everyone's going to pass Logan Sargent. I'm actually surprised that Fernando Alonso didn't pass Logan Sargent, and actually people finished behind him. That's actually pretty impressive for Logan Sargent, but just an all-around continued terrible performance. We'll get to the other side of Williams in a minute. I mean, Alpine's got to start doing something. They actually look like they had a little bit of life in them at some point this weekend. They got to start doing something, man. I mean, if it wasn't for Williams, it would be bad for them. It would just be bad. And
thank God for those guys.
Thank God for those guys. I mean, it's Stake F1 as well, which didn't even get a mention this time. I mean, Bottas and Zhu definitely looks like they took a step backwards this weekend. Looks like they were actually making moves forwards the last couple races, and they're just right back to junk again. They actually looked decent the first half, a little bit in practice. They actually looked like they had something, but when it came to qualifying and race day, man, they just stink. They're not giving him a good car, and Bottas and Zhu are just not getting it done. So back of the pack did what the back of the pack does, but they were just more uncompetitive, I felt, this weekend than they normally are. I don't know if it was just Imola itself, but it felt like they were just less competitive, the back end teams, besides Williams, who just wasn't even on the track. But I'm sure there's somebody's warming their palms up for that one. All right, you got winners?
I got some winners for you. Yuki Tsunoda in the points again. Looking really good this weekend. He was kind of on it this weekend. I mean, he was throwing down some serious lap times in quali. But, I mean, he definitely wanted to get a higher finish than what he ended up with. But solid finish again from Yuki. I don't know. Lance Stroll getting the points. 9th. Looking way better than Fernando.
Yeah, that's a first in a while. You got to give him what you given.
Got to give him, 9th place, but give it up.
He stinks.
We'll give it to him this week.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You listen, when you get it, you deserve to have it. When you're in the points and you're not normally in the points, you deserve to get that. I am going to give a hard look this week in the winner's circle at. I was impressed with Lewis Hamilton all weekend. I really was. He finished 6th. He also got started behind George Russell and finished in front of him. You got to love when you could do that. George should be better than Lewis at this moment in the same car. Hypothetically speaking, obviously in reality it's not. And once again, Lewis just quietly putting up points every single time out. So definitely don't want to put anything past Lewis Hamilton. I know he's much quieter. We'll see if he's a little louder next year in a Ferrari than he is this year in the Mercedes. But you got to give credit where credit is due. And no points. But I'm going to give it to the 11th and 12th Haas. I thought Nico was just impressive all weekend long. All weekend long as you roll your eyes over there. But
no points, no winners.
I don't know about that. They were clearly
with their
the sixth best car out
with
there.
their performances that they've been putting up this season, and to start in the top 10, to not get points, that's a losing weekend for Haas. That's a losing weekend for Haas.
In theory, yes, but they battled.
I don't want no. You're 10th. You start 10th and you don't finish in the points. You're gonna put them in the winners. Come on now, that's disgraceful. Where's the garbage can?
He says.
Where's the garbage can? I'm gonna throw up in it or something. That's disgusting.
All right.
The hell out of
lose
here.
your lunch. Lose your lunch somewhere else.
Haas,
my winners,
Haas winners,
and I'm giving it to Haas.
Points.
I might not have a Haas in a couple of years, so
then that's their own fault because
I'm going to give them winners when I can. And 11th, 12th.
When they make it in the points, yes. When you start in the top 10, you make it to Q3, you're in the top 10, you don't finish in the top 10. No.
You rejecting my winner?
I am rejecting your winner. I'm slapping that back in your face.
All right.
The first time that's ever happened on this show.
All right. I'll take it. Let me go back to the drawing board here. Because I ain't got much left to choose.
You could give it to McLaren, 2nd and 4th. Ferrari still with the 3-5. I mean, they both get there.
I'll give it to Charles Leclerc, and you can't give it to Carlos Sainz. He was a little too sloppy this weekend. But I'll give it to Charles Leclerc getting on the podium again quietly. He's been on a lot of podiums this year, him and Sainz. They really have, and they've been stacking up those podiums, like I mentioned earlier, every race besides China, I believe, this year. And that's all you can ask for Ferrari. All right, I tried to sneak the Haas in there. Got rejected. Dikembe Mutombo style. Back in my face. Hope you're proud of yourself.
I'm damn proud of myself.
All right. Well, you know what that means, of course. It only means one thing.
I need to slap my goddamn for that.
Somebody's going to slap themselves in their face.
It's been kind of a theme here recently with this team, but it's Williams. I mean, again, destroyed Alex Albon's race right off the, was it lap 10 when they brought him in so damn early for a stop anyway. I mean, that was ridiculously early for that. So that was almost a guaranteed screw for him anyway. That would make it 2 stops because he wasn't making 53 laps on tires on the Williams. So disastrous. Can't get the tire on. He's got to crawl the way around. Just a mess. James Vowles looks like a fool when you see him when they show him in the videos because he just looks clueless now. You were on that bandwagon.
Everybody's got a friend that makes the face that James Vowles makes this weekend. Like when you effed up. Like, you effed up, but you don't want to, admit it. So you make that face. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. Just like, what? What? Dude, you were supposed to get, the tickets for the show. Who's got the tickets? What? The tickets? Show? Yeah, remember you said you got the tickets? That's the face you make when you get to the show and you have no tickets. And the guy who's supposed to get the tickets screwed it up. That's the face you make. You are agreeing with me because that's just like what? Who's supposed to get who's supposed to arrange the ride?
Who's supposed to get what? Who's supposed to get what?
What?
Wait, what?
It's like you get to the airport and like, all right, who got the tickets? What? You got the tickets. I know you got them. You bought them. I got the email. You texted us and said it was done. No problem. And then you get to the airport. You're like, what? That's the face they made. So
yeah, that's pretty spot on.
So with that, you just slap your damn self. That goes back to James Vowles. He's slapped himself a lot this year. And for me, praising him preseason and having high expectations of him, I know he's fairly young for a
they've gone
being in the
backwards
position he's in, but
this
still,
year,
they have
and even
good.
more backwards than I even thought they would have gone. Like they have just gone back. And it's
I love how Alex
like
Albon, by the way, one more thing before we go into over to Greentopia, but the one post race, they're interviewing Alex Albon, right? And they're like, "What happened?" And he's like, "Oh, they put the nut on, but they didn't put it on all the way." But he's like, almost like it's okay. Like it's not okay. It's not okay to die at Imola. It's not okay. It's not okay to have the nut almost on. It's not. It's just not freaking okay. Just watch that. Just watch the post-race interview with Alex Albon. He's just like, you can tell he's pissed because he's like, yeah, it's not fun being like the 10th fastest team on track, which he said. Well, he said 9th at first, but everyone knows that's bullshit. So yeah, like it did not. He didn't not put it on. He just didn't put it on like all the way. That's not good. Thank God these guys know their cars well enough. When he got on track, he felt the vibrations immediately. And just knowing that
you're going to feel that vibration.
One nut not being on while you're going that fast, especially into turn one, you're going to feel that vibration. But one nut being slightly off, he felt that, brought it in. That could have been a freaking disaster, dude. If he came out in traffic, if anything happened, that could have been a disaster. And not okay. I know we're laughing about it now only because nothing happened, but just watch the post race with Alex Albon. Those guys, James Vowles better buy that guy a steak dinner tonight, or he's gonna get slapped again. Send that man a case of Omaha steaks right now.
Ah, yes. You know what that sound means. It's time to take that fantasy ride to that fantasy island of Greentopia, where the beer flows like wine, the wine flows like beer. And the cannabis, oh yes, it grows as far as the eyes can see. Look at it out there, green and luscious. Take a little whiff. That air smells fantastic. Take a little walk to the top of the hill. Casino at the top. Let me tell you, I'm running there this week because I got a winner in my pocket. That's right. Are we cashing in or are we checking out?
I mean, you got a winner. Right. But I think you're lost overall on the weekend now. I got to do the final math here. Pretty even. You're close to even.
Yeah.
Close to even. You
I think
won
you should
like.
still be on the positive.
You won like. No, you're not. You're not. But close. Close. You bet 200 greeny bucks and you won 180 because you lost the other 3 bets. Now I lost all 4 of my bets. So I can't see if you're gloating or talking. So as far as mano y mano, man versus man, or hand versus hand, you won big time. And my already decent size 800 point lead, or your 800 greeny buck lead here has gone back to close to 1,000 again. So whatever little nuggets I picked up over the last couple of weeks, I have given right back. And you have a nice lead. Yeah, so just to reiterate, I stink. This is going to be year 1, you won. Year 2, I won slightly. Year 1, you absolutely smashed me. I think I ended up with 0 greeny bucks in the end. And my trajectory is heading there unless I pick it up a little bit. I feel a little like James Vowles right now, not to be too hard on myself. But I don't think James Vowles is as hard on himself as I am on myself.
Probably not.
On this silly little show we do. So that's saying a lot. We are going to skip the news in the news segment this week. We might have a midweek special, maybe throwing it out there. But where are we going next week, sir?
Monaco, baby. Monaco.
The glitz, the glam, the yachts.
Oh yes,
and all that.
Parties.
And all that. And I really hope we get Crofty back. I don't know if I could deal with another week of Harry Benjamin there. And by the way, doesn't he sound... Is it me, or does he try to sound like exactly like Crofty?
He tries but fails miserably.
What a mess. Thanks overall joining us as always. We will see you guys next week in Monaco. Home race for Charles Leclerc.
Yeah. Well, pretty much everybody on the F1 grid, really. Stay medicated, my friends.
Charles Leclerc. Peace.